Hello, my name is Veronica Chambers and I am the Couture Crafter here on YouTube. If you are a current subscriber, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. Please, if you don't mind, click the subscription and notification button, and that way when all my creative musings come to life, you'll be notified of them. Welcome on into the Learning Lab, and let's talk about today's Dust It Off. So from a previous video, I talked about how I've been surfing YouTube and seeing all those items that I own that I haven't used. And I was like, you know what, girl, you need to get down there and dust them off. So that's what's born, Dust It Off. I'm coming back to the Aqua Marker Pen Kit, which is the sub box number 6. I know we all got them, so let's get started. As before, I took my 8x8 paper and trimmed it down to 4x4 and did a color wash on that. I will go ahead and do another color wash because I know I'm going to end up using all of this stuff. But on this one, instead of plain water, I am going to do a little bit of water that I have put some Perfect Pearls in. And that Perfect Pearls is going to go all over the paper. And I do like to do my blending on a separate block. So let's take this, wipe up some of that water. I'm going to blend right here on this palette. And I think I want to do a little bit more blue this time. Or you know what? Let's just do a big old blue wash. I am using the Crafter's Companion wide brush. It does have some water in it, so it's going to give me a little more fluidity on here. Now, I don't like painting in stripes. I like curves. So that's what we're going to give this one, some curves. Give it some fluidity on there. There we go. So I've got that side nice and blue. And I think let's put some yellow. Why not? And I'm going right into my blue with the yellow. So I can get a nice green in the middle. I'm not that concerned about any contamination on here because it's a background. There, I like that. Then a little green down here and a little green up here. Kind of rainbowy. I like that. Yeah. Doesn't come across as harsh to me. And I'm just cleaning off my brush over here on the side because it is filled with water. I'm just squeezing it through and doing that. Now, normally when I'm working, depending on what I'm doing, I will have a piece of paper that I can dab this onto, and I maximize all my ink. I know there are people who are like, nah, just clean that and throw it away. Not yours truly. So we are going to sit this to the side to dry. I do not heat dry my paper. I actually let it air dry naturally, and I love the way it comes out. So what I'm going to do for this one is pull in a piece that I prepared in a previous video where I used some of the pink and the yellow to get some of the oranginess in there. And so on here, I actually am going to do a bit of stamping for you. So from the set that came in the box, I am taking this beautiful florally piece, and I've mounted it on my rocker block. If you are like afraid of using this, don't worry about it. Just use your stamping platform that you have, because I've cut this small enough that it will fit in one. Now, we're going to be coloring this. If you don't want harsh lines, then by all means use a gray pigment ink or archival ink, but I am going to use my trusted go-to VersaFine. I like this ink because it truly does what it says, captures the details like no other. But again, use your fave. So I'm going to get this inked up. And if you don't want it really dark, you can stamp off before you do it. So let me show you what I mean by that in case you're not familiar. You would roll it, and I'm not doing a very good job of rolling, but then you would take this and you would do a second generation of it, and it's going to give you something that's a little lighter where it doesn't stand out as much. I want mine to stand out. So pulling in my stamping mat, I'm going to ink this up, and we're just going to do a pattern all over. Oh, I should have used my bigger block. I really should have, because I'm having to clean the ink off the side. So my first one is going about here. I give mine a chance for the ink to absorb into the paper before I just roll it right on off. Now we are ready to color this in, but I'm going to do a slightly different technique than the one we used with the butterfly. And come in here and start putting down that color where I see some of the shading. On those buds. And I'm actually using the wrong color. I had meant to use a yellow on this, but it's okay. We just now have one that has a little more pink in it. Now I want to take the bigger end and go into the little small amount of water that was laid down to just kind of color around it. I'm not filling in the whole thing, just a little bit of it. I am going to add some water to the marker pen because it is a bit dry and I don't have a cup of water sitting here. Move that around just a little. And now when I come back with the yellow, I can saturate that in some. And really get a bold feel. I am not coloring in every little bit of it. I want to leave some open space around there. For this final flower, I think I am going to do a purple one. So I'm going to put down some of my blue and my pink right next to it. And this time I'm using a dry brush to blend that together because I want to go in and make those areas darker. There we are. So where I did the highlights on the other ones, I still want to go in and put those in on here. And I'm doing this because I thought about when you have clusters of flowers together, sometimes they cross-pollinate and you get these beautiful colors that you didn't expect. You know, it's one of those involuntary ones. So I thought, let's just throw a purple one into the mix. Now I'm going to spritz that. Actually, I'm still using the one that has the mica powder in it. And before I do that, I'm going to put a little water on there so it'll be able to flow a little more smoothly. It is going to be a lighter shade like the other ones. I'm going to leave some open space on there so that it does not look one-dimensional, but maybe has a little 3D effect to it by pulling out some of that other purple. Okay, I like that. Oh, you know what? How about if I put a little purple over here? Because, you know, flowers do mix. Whoa. Yeah, okay. I like it. Now, one thing you can do is once this dries, you can go back and darken it up to get a little more saturation in there. But because we pretty much went direct to paper, it's pretty saturated. Now, here's the one thing that this kit did not have, and that was a green. You can mix the green together and put it on here and painstakingly use your fine tip and paint each one of those. Nothing wrong with that. But if you happen to have a green and another color, go for it. All right, so we're going to use this Pro Marker one from Letraset. I have to say these greens are, it's a nice green. And I am again just going to hit the tips. I'm not saturating the entire leaf on there. I'm going to leave some of that open space to kind of highlight. And that is it. I love it. As always, thank you for joining me in the Learning Lab. Please be sure to check out my blog at incollusions.blogspot.com. And if you have an item in your crafty stash that you know needs a little bit of dusting off, drop it in the comments below. Maybe we've got some of the same things. Until then.